I approached art in a very easy, given way because my father is a director of photography. He worked in Uzbek Soviet cinema from 60s. He studied in Moscow because that was the only place of education of cinema. My brother is a painter, and he's specialized on setup of theater and cinema. I went to study film directing at the State Art Institute of Uzbekistan at the film department. And then after the graduation, I was very lucky to be invited at Fabrica, which is a research and communication center from Benetton in Treviso in the north of Italy. I got attracted more and more to moving image in a more expanded possible way of working. I made 2 years of study at Le Fresnoy, which is a national school for contemporary art in France in the north. That is focused actually on the new technologies, which was challenging but also very enriching in my practice. As I studied cinema, the media which is the most closest and of course where I feel the most comfortable and secure, it's a moving image, it's a camera and the sound. Then with time it starts expanding probably and getting shapes like physical representation in the space, but it never happens independently from the films. Either it's work related to the embroidery or textile weaving or glass work, then they all come from the film. So it's never independent. A Seed Under Our Tongue, the title of the exhibition in HangarBicocca, it represents a transmission. The story is related to a character whose name was Arslan Bob, who came to Central Asia with the date seed under his tongue to give it to someone, but he didn't know to who he had to give. And then he scattered around the region until the moment there is a 7-year-old boy that comes to him and says, like, give me what belongs to me. And so that's where the transmission happens. And by the story, it happened on the northern bank of Srdarya River, and the little boy then grew to Ahmad Yasavi, which is one of the most important poets and mystics of the region. A seed under our tongue, it also was important for me to have under our tongue, not my tongue or his tongue or her tongue, but our is to secure this sense of collectivity and to get rid of geographical distances and divisions that, it's overall human. In the beginning, it was kind of challenging. It's an industrial space. It's very geometrical. For me, it was very important that there is a kind of solid statement, not only in the selection of the works or the concept of the exhibition, but also how the works are represented. By working closely with the curator, Roberta Tenconi, and also with the Grace Architecture Studio from Milano, we came up, I think, with a layout that is creates this circular experience. And I think that this circularity speaks to the question of the transmission, so by deleting the sense of past or future, or that the narratives are actually circled rather than have the beginning or the end. Of course, when you have several films presented without the walls, the sound starts spilling into each other. Here in the exhibition, what happened, there is a spilling of the projection as well, like for example from As We Fade, it spills partly onto Stains of Oxus and partly into the Arslan Bob. which I find also interesting to support this idea of not dividing or not blocking. But then there is a bound and a connection and a conversation between all the works, I would say, because normally my practice is like one work grows from the other, and this again became very evident at this exhibition. We worked on a layout of the benches, and also it's related to the Arslan film. We have scanned one of the caves in the Süleymanto. But when there was the archival footage, I wanted to do something on the movement of people, which is not just physical, but there is very interesting way of communication between human body and the mountain. How they treat it. Then in August I went to the mountain and I filmed, so it came out to be like 20 minutes new film. It brought another layer to the title of the exhibition, As We Fade, because it's also somehow related to the division of the borders and a reality that certain communities have to face. And so it got another layer of reading. As We Fade was a surprise. It was more a work that appeared first. I knew that I want to work with the projection on a silk because something that I start experimenting already for a while. And then when we made the test at HangarBicocca, the silk didn't take the light, so it arrived until certain level. As I wanted to put 24 layers of silk as 24 frames in 1 second of the film, and the light didn't go through, I said, well, maybe it's as we fade, as image fades, as memory fades, as presence fades. But then I got to know, and I managed to get the copy of a film from 1928 on this mountain, Süleymanto, which is the sacred mountain in Central Asia. There is always a great curiosity to look at their archives. I start using them from 2013, like really slowly, first using them as in a sound, but then they start slowly appearing like in the Haunted. Then I made 2 works that are only made from the archives. In reality, they create another layer. They also create context. They also bring another time. I think the time, it's also a question of narration in the work, no? Like we kind of used to this idea that the narration has the beginning and the end, and then it has a culmination point. While in my works, it is a bit more cryptic, the language, and I think that also helps me to create this timeless sensation, because the narrative structure, it's different. And for that, I have looked a lot to the traditional musical forms. They allow a lot of improvisation, and it's more about bringing the audience into the mood and then letting build your understanding. So I think that it is more active space for the audience rather than narrating in a very articulated way where you propose one story.